The strongest god pretends to be a weak student and joins a fighting tournament. Mori is a young, disgusting, and useless orphan boy who was adopted by an old man. This old man raised him in the mountains while teaching his unique and special martial art called Renewal Taekwondo. But one day, his grandfather told Mori it was time to join a school in the city, study hard, and make some friends. Mori felt very sad and was left in tears. But in reality, he knew the old man just wanted to buy milk and never come back. We then see three men relaxing on a beach, getting massages from girls, something you won't ever have. One of them called a government worker named Park, inquiring about the bill they had sent to the National Assembly. The man offered him money, but the men were beyond that. They discussed their plan to harm the reputation of the country's prime minister. As they chatted, something approached the island. Suddenly, a strong wind blew, and the clouds quickly covered the sunny sky. The three men were uncertain about what to do when something fell from the sky and crushed them. Meanwhile, in an office, a man made a crushing motion with his hand. He then informed his secretary that they were running out of time and needed to start. He has a red cross tattooed on his hand. Later, helicopters arrived at the island to investigate the incident and found a massive hand-shaped print that had a cross on it, just like the one tattooed on the man's hand. We now see Mori, who's now a teenager. He wakes up from a dream about his grandfather's departure. He gazed at a photo of him and his grandfather, but then realized he was running late for an important event that day. He hurriedly left on his bicycle, feeling frustrated for oversleeping on such a significant day. Later, on the news, it was announced that today marked the first day of a martial arts tournament known as the God of High School. Students from all over the country could participate, and the city preliminaries were going to be held at the arena. We could see that all the kids were excited about the tournament and wanted to get tickets to watch it. Following this, we saw a guy working in a store. While taking out the trash, he checked his wallet and realized he didn't have enough money. He knew he needed to work more shifts to make ends meet. We see a girl who needs to get to the tournament and asks some martial artists for directions who are not selected for the tournament. While they give her directions, she becomes excited by the guy's muscles. Mori was on his way to the tournament, feeling really hungry and thinking about what he could have for lunch. Just then, he nearly got into an accident with a thief on a motorcycle who snatched an old lady's purse. In that moment, he saw the struggles in the old lady's life, and it made him feel sorry for her. So, he decided to turn around and chase after the thief. The chase was chaotic. Mori was on a bicycle while the thief sped away on a motorcycle. But Mori had some tricks up his sleeves. He expertly changed lanes, almost flying on his bicycle. During the pursuit, he accidentally ran into a girl who was still admiring the artist's muscles. He quickly apologized and resumed chasing the thief. However, when the girl realized her glasses were broken, she got angry and hurled her sword at Mori. She warned him that he wouldn't get away. Mori explained that he was chasing the thief who had stolen the old lady's purse. Hearing this, the girl was moved and decided to help him. They both rode on the bicycle together, determined to catch the thief. The thief did his best to escape, but Mori and the girl pursued him relentlessly. However, when the girl leaped to attack the thief with her sword, she accidentally hit a street sign. At that moment, a passing boy who worked at the store intervened. He stopped the thief with a single powerful punch, leaving both Mori and the girl impressed. In the next scene, the martial arts tournament was about to begin, and we learned that the three of them were in the same dressing room, getting ready to participate. The girl, Yumira, asked Mori to pay for her broken glasses, but Mori insisted it was the thief's fault. He did thank them for saving his life, though. Mori introduced himself as Jin Mori, and the boy, Han Diwi, said his name. They exchanged introductions. Then, the announcer explained the tournament rules. He mentioned that any fighting style was allowed during the matches, there was no time limit, and participants could use any type of weapon. The only ways to win were by knocking out the opponent or getting them to surrender. The regional preliminaries were currently happening, and from there, participants for the main tournament would be selected. The announcer also talked about the bracelets they were all wearing, which monitored their vital signs. These bracelets were there to determine if fighters were seriously injured, and if so, the nanomachines injected into them would heal their injuries immediately. The announcer went on to explain that whoever passed all the rounds and won the tournament could make any wish to the organization. With all the fighters gathered, he declared that the fight had begun. Initially, everyone, including the audience, was shocked, but they quickly realized that it was a battle royal. Some fighters quickly realized that the bracelets not only monitored their life signs but also indicated their fighting levels. As a result, they began targeting the weaker participants, demonstrating the different abilities of each fighter. However, it became evident that Mori was incredibly strong as he effortlessly defeated several opponents. Similarly, Dewey and Mira also proved their skills by defeating numerous participants. Afterward, a fighter named Kang Manseok entered the ring, and the blue-haired woman mentioned that he was the favorite to win the tournament. Kang started easily defeating several fighters, showcasing his speed even without using his arms. He expressed disappointment at the fighter's weakness and stated his preference for going back to sleeping in his prison cell. Ymira stepped up to challenge Kang, but her blows didn't do much damage, although she proved to be a formidable opponent. During the fight, Kang made inappropriate comments about her beauty and asked her out, to which Yu responded with disgust. Behind Kang, we saw Mori pulling down his pants, revealing animal print underwear. This surprised Kang, who responded by delivering a powerful kick to Mori's chest, sending him flying. Dewey noticed that when Kang kicked him, Mori took the opportunity to injure Kang's foot with his arm. Mori then stood up and told Kang that if he used all his strength, he would do the same. They both leaped to attack each other. Meanwhile, officials from the United States government grew concerned upon seeing images of the events that took place on the island. A man with a scar on his forehead entered the room, causing everyone to point their weapons at him. The officials asked about his identity, and he introduced himself as Park Mujin, explaining that he worked for the Korean government. The first round of the tournament came to an end. Yu walked ahead to go home, and Jin and Han followed, as they were all heading in the same direction. Their houses were along the same route. Jin asked Yu why she had hit him, which led to the revelation of what had happened during the fight between Jin and Kang. Yu remembered that when she had jumped to attack Kang, she accidentally twisted Jin's neck. She explained that it was not intentional. She had confused him because she wasn't wearing her glasses. However, she mentioned that they were able to heal him using nanomachines that had been injected into all the fighters. These nanomachines could repair all the damage incurred during the fights, leaving Han impressed by the organization's advanced technology. Later, Jin revealed that he was participating in the tournament because he wanted to face many opponents and become stronger. He then asked Han why he was taking part, and Han responded that it was for the money. Finally, Yu mentioned that she was fighting to reclaim her family's martial arts academy. Jin teased her, wondering how people could easily snatch her sword from her, to which she responded that it was because she had no glasses on. Jin took out her sword without her noticing, and she asked for it back. However, as she reached for the sword, it slipped from her grasp and fell into the river. Jin apologized and said he would retrieve it, but she slapped him and asked him to disappear from her sight. It was nighttime, and Mira was searching in the water for her sword. She heard her father's voice, reminding her never to let their moonlight sword style fade away. She had a childhood memory of her father giving her the sword and telling her to find a strong successor for the academy. As she grew up, while other girls enjoyed typical girly activities, she only had time for training and fulfilling her father's wishes. Back in the present, her phone's flashlight suddenly went out, leaving her in darkness. Jin Mori appeared with a flashlight to help her search for the sword. As they continued their search, she apologized for slapping him. When he had taken the sword, she had felt very sad since it was the only memento of her father. Suddenly, Han appeared with bright lights to assist them in finding the sword. The next day, a new round of fights was about to begin, and whoever won would be able to participate in the National God of High School tournament. They introduced a fighter named Gogamdo, who practiced the Tai Chi style. The three of them waited their turn in the locker room. Jin Mori was asleep when Kang approached him and threatened to harm him, even though Mori was asleep. However, Go stepped in and told Kang to leave him alone. Despite this, Kang kicked Go in the face, but Jin Mori quickly woke up and supported Go's back to protect him. Mori advised Go to always stay alert. The first match was between Ymira and Han Dichul, and with just one move, she knocked him out. After that, the fights began, and Jin Mori easily won his match. Afterwards, they watched the other participants' fights on TV, and Han also defeated his opponent. Seeing this, Jin Mori expressed his desire to fight them. Suddenly, Gogamdo appeared to thank Jin Mori for intervening when Kang attacked him earlier. He mentioned that he shouldn't have let his guard down. However, as he was saying this, the announcer called the fighters for the next match. Jin Mori warned Go to be careful since his opponent was Kang. Go told Mori that he didn't fear Kang, but he was concerned about losing the Battle of Wills. The announcer had declared that the fight would not end until one of them became unconscious or surrendered. He had also mentioned that if someone left the ring for more than 20 seconds, they would be disqualified, and they could rely on nanomachines to heal their injuries. Go had told Kang to release his arms and stay true to the path of a real martial artist. The fight began, and Go managed to land many punches on Kang, impressing Jin Mori and Yu with his technique. Then, he skillfully threw Kang into the audience, leaving everyone astonished. However, Kang returned to the ring slowly and seemed undamaged by Go's punches. Kang then freed one of his arms and began repeatedly striking Go. However, it became clear that Kang's fighting style allowed for anything, including eye gouges and low blows, as it was created for survival in war. At this point, Go believed that his Tai Chi style was about finding peace and not getting angry. He managed to land a powerful blow called the Yin-Yang Balance Strike on Kang, but Kang effectively blocked it. Kang then demanded that Go surrender by making him apologize, and he started slapping him to humiliate him. However, Go refused to give in. Kang continued to step on his face and then tried to tear Go's arms from his body. But just as he was doing so, Jin Mori intervened and began hitting Kang because he despised his dirty fighting style. The tournament organizers surrounded Jin Mori and informed him that he couldn't interfere in the fight that way. Kang got back on his feet and claimed that he was no longer the same. A black aura emanated from Kang, and he removed his heavy pants. We caught a glimpse of his past when he was weak and had asked his mentor to teach him techniques, but she had called him a failure. Returning to the present, Kang attacked Jin Mori with a powerful move. The organizers moved to intervene, but Jin Mori jumped and kicked Kang several times. He kicked Kang so many times that Kang fell unconscious. Suddenly, Park Mujin, the man with the scar on his forehead, appeared and used his power to throw Jin Mori to the ground. Over the microphone, he announced that he was the head of tournament administration, and a severe punishment would be imposed on Jin Mori. However, as they were taking him away, he heard the crowd praising and shouting his name. Following that, we observe a group of people dressed in religious robes within a cult-like setting. They are listening to the tournament's events on the radio, and one of them mentions that they will fulfill God's will, believing that by doing so, they will have their wishes granted. Back at the arena, the organizers have gathered, and the woman with blue hair mentions that Go Gamdo is severely injured, which means he is eliminated from the tournament. Then, we see Kang, who is quite scared of what Jin Mori did to him. The woman comments that she doesn't believe Kang will fight again. Next, we see Jin Mori working out in his room, while the organizers are debating whether they should disqualify him. The man with the scar on his forehead looks at Jin Mori's record and is surprised to see that Jin Mori's grandfather is Jin Tijin. After that, the fights began. Yu faced off against a woman named Ma Mission, who happened to be the United States wrestling champion. Ma suggested that Yu should choose a different weapon since her wooden sword wouldn't stand a chance. She started the fight strong, attacking Yu with her aggressive moves. Ma explained that she had come all the way from America to win the tournament, as the winner could have any wish granted. Yu attempted to fight back with her sword, but Ma's strength seemed as tough as iron, making her attacks ineffective. Yu's sword ended up falling far away, and Ma taunted her, claiming that she had no chance of winning. This infuriated Yu, and she unleashed a power called the Moonlight Sword Style, which created a large wound on Ma's chest. Even without her sword, Ma fell to the ground, and Yu was declared the winner. Meanwhile, Jin Mori was in the room celebrating Yu's victory. However, Mujin entered and informed Jin Mori that they had decided on his punishment. He told Jin Mori that he could rejoin the tournament if he could defeat the man with green hair and glasses. But Jin Mori insisted on fighting the blonde man instead, recalling a humiliating incident from school. He threw a tantrum on the floor, expressing his strong desire to fight the blonde man. The man with glasses claimed that he was stronger than the blonde man and had been chosen for that reason. To prove his strength, he punched Jin Mori in the face. Jin Mori excitedly got up, realizing that the man was stronger than he had thought. The man with the scar then announced that the fight would take place the next day. Yu walked alongside Han, still upset with Jin Mori for intervening in the fight. She was concerned that this might lead to Jin Mori's disqualification from the tournament. However, Han described the incident as incredible and believed that Jin Mori's strength was extraordinary. Suddenly, Jin appeared and informed them about his upcoming fight against the man with green hair and glasses. He also offered them some fruits given to him by the scarred man earlier, mentioning that they would restore their energy. Yu was angry at him for being so reckless, but Jin told them about their families, saying that encouraged them to do what they wanted. It was becoming evident that the scarred man and the woman with blue hair were plotting something. Afterward, Jin Mori was at home, eating a peach and preparing his bed to sleep. Suddenly, he experienced chest pain and collapsed, coughing up blood. In another location, the man with the scar explained that he had done this to test if Jin Mori was a true fighter, and to see if he was as strong as his grandfather. Next, we find Han visiting a friend in the hospital who is suffering from a severe illness. It's revealed that Han is participating in the tournament to earn money to help his friend. His friend mentions that the doctors will try a new and expensive medicine, and his sister has taken on extra work to cover the treatment costs. She has become so busy that she hardly has time to sleep, and he feels guilty for being a burden to both his friend and his sister. Han reassures him not to worry and to focus on getting better. He tells his friend about a boy he met who reminds him of him, and they start joking and having a good time together. Later, we see Han working as a trash collector, where he encounters some bullies who taunt him, having heard about his friend's dire condition. One of them hits him with a can, dirtying his shirt, but Han picks it up, and the bullies continue to mock him. Back at the arena, Han was preparing to fight in the tournament against a boy who was always seen with a book. The boy claimed to have learned everything from books, including how to win in battle. As the fight began, the boy could predict Han's movements because he had studied all the patterns of karate. He mentioned that if he practiced and learned all the movements, it would be impossible for him to lose. That's why he participated in the tournament, to prove his theory correct. The boy attacked Han with a metal bat, but Han managed to dodge the blows. The boy tried to attack again but slipped and fell. Surprisingly, Han didn't take advantage of the situation. Instead, he offered the boy a hand to help him up. The boy was surprised that Han didn't exploit the moment and asked why. Han explained that it would be cowardly to attack a downed opponent. The boy got up and used a power called 12 Spears, which involved delivering 12 simultaneous strikes, severely injuring Han. The boy told him that these blows had pierced his bones and reached his organs, making it pointless for Han to get up and continue fighting. However, Han recalled his friend's struggle in the hospital, who had expressed a strong desire to survive his illness. We returned to the present, and because of this, Han knew he couldn't afford to lose. So, despite his injuries, he got up and continued to fight. The boy launched an attack with 72 spears, but Han countered the boy's onslaught with a move called Black Tortoise. He followed it up with an attack called Vermilion Bird, creating a whirlwind that blinded the boy. Finally, he unleashed White Tiger, the third attack, landing multiple blows on the boy, who was left helpless. The boy couldn't believe that his theory had been completely dismantled. Unable to continue with his fourth stance, the boy collapsed and was eliminated from the tournament. Next, they announced the fight between the commissioner with green hair and Mori. However, Jin Mori was unconscious in his house. Suddenly, something inside his body awakened him. Later, as they waited for him to arrive at the fight, everyone thought he wouldn't show up. But then he arrived running and jumped into the ring, although he seemed a bit tired and didn't know why his body was burning so intensely. Upon seeing him, the green-haired commissioner taunted him, suggesting that he might have been scared to face him. The announcer explained the rules, stating that since it was an uneven match, if Jin Mori knocked his opponent down once, he would win.